Larry Anglisano reporting for AvBrief. You know, it's been over 60 years since the first King Air twin turboprops came off the beach assembly lines. And all these years later, owners are still spending big to make old King Airs better than new, oftentimes passing up on newer jets. I spent some time around an upgraded C-90 King Air at Sun & Fun and talked with its owner and King Air modifier Blackhawk Aerospace about why spending well north of $1 million to re-engine these old workhorses still makes sense.
Hello Larry, Edwin Black here from Blackhawk Aerospace. We're happy to be here at Sun & Fun 2026. On display here in our booth, we've got the King Air C-90 series, which is one of our bread and butter aircraft mods. What we do at Blackhawk is we'll take a lot of the older aircraft. This is a 2000 model. We'll take the original engines that were installed. This one, for instance, is a 2000 model. It had the Pratt Whitney PT-6A-61 engines on. We pulled those off and put the Pratt Whitney PT-6A-135A engines on in its place, and it gives you a lot more horsepower capability as opposed to just overhauling your old 21s. And so we always say it dashes the airframe up from a C-90 to that of a King Air 200 performance levels, and it's a really good opportunity as well to upgrade other components with the aircraft as well. So this one here has the full Raisbeck kits on it. So it's got the four-bladed swept propellers. It's got the Garmin G1000 Avionics panel inside, a new paint job, along with some new interior inside. So you can take an older 2000 model aircraft and really refurbish it into something very modern and something very capable that you can no longer buy. I know the factory Textron doesn't build this airplane anymore, but it's a really great airplane, especially for a lot of operators that aren't carrying a lot, but they want to, own and operate their own airplane. The King Air C-90 is a perfect aircraft for that group. And so we're excited to be highlighting this airplane here and all the capabilities of what it can do. The one thing that never gets old, there's no substitute for horsepower. So whenever you put bigger engines on, it gives you speed. And that's the main reason why people buy these King Airs, is that you can get places, you can carry a lot of people, you can go into a lot of places that you otherwise can't with some other airplanes, and you can get there faster. So this airplane with the bigger 135A engines on it is going to true out at about 275 knots. If you look at it with what the old engines, the old 21 engines would do, you'd be cruising around 235 knots. So it's almost a 30 plus, 30, 40 plus knot speed increase with this engine upgrade. So you're getting more of what you bought your King Air for in the first place. One of the advantages of the Raisbeck kits, when you couple the Raisbeck four-bladed swept props with the dual aft body Strakes, is it comes with an increased gross weight kit. So the original gross weight is 10,100 pounds. With the Raisbeck kits, it bumps it up to 10,500 pounds, so you get an additional 400 pounds of payload, and that's huge on the King Air 90s, having that additional payload. And then the price point, the 2026 pricing is just north of $1 million for both engines. It's an exchange price, so we've got to take the old core engines and return those back to Pratt & Whitney. And so if there's time remaining on the core engine, we'll refund a credit for that time remaining of $35 per hour. So depending on this core condition and that sort of thing, the price will fluctuate a little bit, but plan for just north of $1 million for two brand new 135A engines.
So I bought my very first airplane in 2019. First aircraft I ever bought was a King Air B200. And we're standing next to my second King Air, which is the C-90B, still on the other as well. I bought it simply for use in our business, moving employees around and moving ourselves around. I think the biggest thing as a purchaser of an aircraft and looking at an aircraft is find an aircraft with good bones. And that's a lot to do with a few factors, in my opinion. Total time and the way that they've taken care of, the pedigree. We seeked out, with our B200 and with the C-90B here, we seeked out airplanes sub 5,000 hours, which we ended up with two airplanes sub 4,000 total time, but had good solid logbooks, good maintenance. Ownership in the past clearly had taken care of the airplane, no maintenance shop hopping, all the little details. There's a lot of these things out there. It's an older design. It's a fantastic design that meets a big niche in the market for guys that are based in areas where regional travel is the bulk of what they do. They want to touch the coasts on the rare occasion. The aircraft really begins to perform well when aftermarket companies like Blackhawk and then the Raisbecks of the world get involved, and their world-class engineering build aftermarket products for these that we can install and put them into an entirely different operational envelope where the performance increases, the fuel consumption decreases, and the range increases. So I've looked at several other models of jets, pretty much every model of jet that seats the same, has a cabin size that's comparable. And a couple of key factors that keep us in the King Air are fuel consumption for the trip. The King Air gets there a few minutes slower per hour, maybe 10 minutes an hour slower, burns 50% of the fuel, and the roominess inside of the King Air cabin is unmatched. You get in a jet cabin, I'm going to call anybody by name, but the jet cabins are typically smaller. The passenger comfort isn't quite as high in my opinion, but it's a trade-off, right? They're quieter inside, but for us, our mission, typically 500, 600 mile trips on a regular basis with some 1,000-mile trips mixed in. The efficiency and effectiveness, the maintenance cost, the all-around operational costs, both fixed and variable, are just tremendously lower in the King Air than they are in the small and light jets. I think the resale value of the King Air market speaks for itself. The prices never go down. The ownership is protected. The sooner you buy, the sooner you get to start building equity in the asset. We are probably sitting on a pile of equity in these airplanes that I would have never imagined that they built. They're never going to lose money if you take care of them. And that's where the clean, crisp, solid, documented pedigree comes into play. And there are plenty of these airplanes out there that don't fit that bill, unfortunately. But there are also plenty out there that do fit the bill. I think any owner looking to get into a King Air, whether it be for Part 135 use, Part 91 use in a business for moving people as we do, or just a guy wanting to traverse the country with his wife faster, or maybe a wife wanting to traverse the country with her husband faster, there's a King Air out there for everybody.